Parsvottanasana. One of my passions, hi Anna, one of my passions in teaching both regular yoga classes and teaching other yoga teachers is lately this love of anatomy that I have and making it accessible. How many of you have taken an anatomy class in your life? Yeah. Okay, half. Three have, three haven't. How many of you have taken biology yet? Right, so you maybe got a little bit there, right? But in my experience of doing teacher trainings and going as a student to teacher trainings, is we didn't get a whole lot, enough, in my opinion, of anatomy. And so part of my purpose of this presentation is to help us make that more accessible, and I put that up here. So one way to do that is you guys are going to move around and engage. I'm not just going to sit up here and lecture. Another way we're going to do this is through, we're going to define basic anatomical directional terms and apply them to the pose. I'm going to teach you like the basics of directional stuff. I'm going to introduce you to real basics anatomy of the muscles and connective tissue and bony landmarks. Like the most basic you could possibly get. Maybe you'll remember one thing. Understand optimal alignment, common misalignments, and possible modifications for the pose. Remember, we're all connecting this back to the pose. Understand key actions required, and then my hope, again, is for you to leave with a yearning to apply this knowledge in your practice, or your teaching if you're a teacher, and not just in Parsvottanasana. So hopefully, whether or not you're staying for this next class doesn't really matter. What matters more to me is that you gain something from this presentation that you can take with you to other poses, whether they're standing poses or forward folds or even back bend. So stand up. Let's do the pose. You thought you were done doing yoga. Okay, bring your feet 3.5 to 4 feet apart. Yeah, it doesn't matter if you have a mat or not. Then turn your feet to the left. Yes, look back at your right foot and turn your right foot in at a sharp angle. Rotate your right inner thigh in and take your right hip forward. Get both legs straight and strong. Lift your chest, inhale. This might be where you stay, or exhale, fold into stage 2. Draw your fingertips to the floor and fold. Take a few breaths here. Ideally, both legs are straight in the pose. Keep your legs strong. Bring your hands to your hips, shoulders on your back. Inhale, rise up, look up. Come back to the middle and come back to the other side. So feet to the right now. Other way. Pivot your left foot into a sharp angle, right foot straight ahead. Turn your hips to the right. So you square your hips more over your right thigh. Inhale here. Exhale, slowly, mindfully, fold fingertips to the floor. Keep your legs strong and steady. Engage your muscles of your legs. Pull up on the muscles above your knees. Bring your hands to your hips. Shoulders on your back. Lift your chin and inhale, rise up. Okay, so face front. So that's the pose. So in your experience of the pose, how would you categorize it? What category of pose would this be? What kind of pose?
Hamstring.
Okay, yeah, so you're going for a muscle group, right? It opens your hamstrings. Even more broad, so there's categories of poses. There's, anybody have an idea?
Forward fold.
There's, is this a forward fold?
Yeah.
Okay, what else do we know about it?
Standing.
Standing, good. Okay, so it's a standing pose, it's a forward fold, and then what's the difference between this kind of forward fold and this kind of forward fold? This is the tough one. Ever heard of a thing called symmetry? So this would be a symmetrical, right? Legs are symmetrical. This one would be asymmetrical. So what kind of pose is this? Parsvottanasana is a, tell me. Asymmetrical. Forward fold standing pose. Okay, there's a lot there. So if you're thinking, wow, why is this pose so hard? Like that was probably, at least hopefully a little challenging. There's a lot of elements to it. Okay, we're going to move on from there. that why you guys showed up to the presentation? Because you like the pose?
I don't like
No.
You don't like it, you showed up anyways.
We
Good.
showed up because we like you.
Oh, you're so lucky. Oh, I'm so lucky. Okay, so now I'm going to teach you Western anatomical position. Some of you this will be review, some of you this is new. Stand with your feet about hip distance apart and your palms facing forward. This is Western anatomical position. Okay, so whenever we talk about directional turns, it's always moving from this place. Okay, if you study Chinese medicine, they'll go like this. Don't get confused, right? Just for our purposes, we're here. Okay? So now, flexion. You ever heard flex this, extend this. So we're going to do it with our hips. So bring your hands to your hips. Press down through your left foot. Lift your right leg up. Release it back down. So this is flexing your hip. So lift your right leg and say it with me. Flex your hip. Extend your hip. Oh, you guys are so good. One more time. Flex your hip. Good. Extend your hip. Come back. Right? So this is neutral. So this is flex, neutral.